I'm not pointing any fingers. But there is some concern that maybe it could be natural gas or something like that. No reason to panic. Don't worry about it. But we're just going to get to the bottom of this. So in the meantime, I think we should all go hang out in the rotunda, stick by close to the House chamber. We're just going to get somebody up here to take a look at this, and we'll come back in. So don't go far, but clear out of the house for now. Thanks.
like to request a call of the House.
Notice that was a request, not a motion, so. Can we get everybody in? Yeah, let's open the doors. Yeah, sounds good. If we did a call of the House, we'd have to close the doors. We want the doors open. Okay. The House of Representatives will now come back to order. Thank you, everybody, for leaving and coming back. It was a natural gas of sorts. Just leave it at that. Communications.
Mr. Speaker and members of the House of Representatives, I have the honor to inform you that on March 10th, 2026, I approved House Bills 1099, 1106, 1164, and 1286, and the same have been deposited in the Office of the Secretary of State. Respectfully submitted, Larry Roden, Governor.
Messages from the Senate.
Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to inform your honorable body that the Senate has concurred in House amendments to Senate Bill 171, 39, 135, and 159. Also, Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to inform your honorable body that House Bill 1176 was lost for failure to be placed on the Senate calendar. Also, Mr. Speaker, the President Pro Tem appointed Reed, Perry, and Wilhauer as a committee of three on the part of the Senate to meet with a like committee on the part of the House to adjust the differences between the two houses on House Bill 1200. And the President Pro Tem appointed Senators Dybert, Nelson, and Peterson as a committee of three on the part of the Senate to meet with a like committee on the part of the House to adjust the differences between the two houses. Respectfully, Peggy Lorenz, Secretary.
Motions and resolutions.
Representative Mulder moved that the House do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1220.
Is there a second? The Mulder motion that the House do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1220 having been made and seconded. Remarks on your motion, Representative Mulder.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I'm going to ask the House to concur with House Bill 1220. Over in the Senate, the change that was made over there, it just allows the wholesalers, distributors to do direct sales as long as they are matching the same age verification requirements as the bill that we sent over there yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Mulder motion? Any further remarks? Seeing no further remarks, the question before the House is the Mulder motion that the House now do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1220. All those in favor will vote yea. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will unlock the voting machine, and the members will proceed to vote. Representative Jamieson.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to announce the Doctor of the Day.
Granted.
Is the Doctor of the Day in the House? Well, let me introduce, right? Dr. Yang Heidi Hu from Sioux Falls. The Doctor of the Day program is sponsored by the South Dakota State Medical Association. Today's Doctor of the Day is Yang Heidi Hu, is a medical hospitalist and practices at Avera McKinnon Hospital in Sioux Falls. Dr. Hu received her medical degree from the University of Nebraska Medical Center, Omaha. She completed residency in Creighton University Medical Center, Omaha, Nebraska. Dr. Hu is a member of the South Dakota State Medical Association. Please welcome Doctor of the Day.
Gosh votes aye. Overweight votes aye.
Representative Mucky,
Personal privilege, please.
granted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I would like to have them stand. I would like to recognize the South Dakota Snowmobile Association Board, who represent 19 snowmobile clubs, making possible over 900 miles of snowmobile trail in eastern South Dakota, in addition to the 350 miles of trails in the Black Hills. Each year, they invite us as legislators to experience snowmobiling as part of their Governor's Ride and Member Appreciation Ride held in February. If you haven't done it, give it a shot. It's a really great time. They work with fellow Snowbelt states to advocate for safety, land access, and youth involvement to keep this family-friendly sport strong. Snowmobiling provides over $130 million of economic impact annually into South Dakota. So please join me in welcoming South Dakota Snowmobile Association.
Representative Poyer. Mr. Speaker, all members have voted.
Clerk will please display the vote.
Mr. Speaker, there were ayes 60, nays 7, excused 3.
The Mulder motion having received the affirmative vote of the majority of members elected is hereby declared carried. The House does concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1220.
Representative Lems moved that the House do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1038.
That Lems motion having been made and seconded, are there any remarks? Representative Lems.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I ask for your concurrence with Senate amendments to House Bill 1038. As a reminder, House Bill 1038 comes to you via the Chair of Commerce and Energy by request of the Public Utilities Commission. And with this legislation, we are seeking to ensure that the cost causer data center pays for PUC review of their utility contract, not the taxpayers. This passed the House by a vote of 60-5. The Senate added some minor clarifying amendments that did not change the meaning or function of the bill. So I would please ask for your concurrence by your green vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Lems motion? Any further remarks? Seeing no further remarks, the question before the House is the Lems motion that the House now do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1038. All those in favor will vote yea. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will unlock the voting machine and the members will proceed to vote. Due to the monies being deposited into a continuously appropriated fund, this will require a 2/3 vote.
Reich votes aye.
Representative Elward.
Personal privilege.
Granted.
Permission to use names.
Granted.
Thank you. All right, members of the House, I'm going to read a quote here. When I read it, sit to yourself, see if you can, if a name comes to mind to you here. So it's one of my favorite quotes from the great Pope St. Pius X back in 1910. He said, "The true friends of the people are neither revolutionaries nor innovators, but traditionalists." Any names come to mind? Again, don't need to say anything, obviously, but maybe you think of somebody. To me, that's Representative Tony Randolph. So I'd like to take a couple minutes to honor him since he's termed out of the House here after the session. And I'm going to read this because if I go off the cuff, I would end up forgetting some stuff and regret it later. So I came to know Representative Randolph during my first session here in the legislature. As you all know, he's got a handshake that you'll never forget, and he always strives to know who you are. If you ever hear murmuring over on this side of the floor here, it's most likely Representative Randolph and Representative Fosness. He's very genuine. He shows that he cares when he's talking to people. And I was joking with that, by the way. I knew that he was a solid traditional conservative before I came into this legislature, and I got to know him more and more over the first 2 years. And that proved to be true, and that continues today. As I thought about putting this speech together, a couple pieces of scripture came to mind. The first one being 1 Peter 3:15. "But sanctify Christ the Lord in your hearts, being always ready to give an explanation to all who ask you the reason for the hope which is in you." And the second one is Mark 16:15. "And he said to them, 'Go forth to the whole world and preach the gospel to every creature.'" These two specific ones came to mind because the more I've gotten to know Representative Randolph, he's always looking for an opportunity to share Christ's message and show the truth of the gospel. Many of you have probably had a chance to discuss this with Representative, as I have myself. After my first term, Speaker Steve Haugard was done here in the legislature, and he happened to be a roommate of Representative Randolph and Representative Phil Jensen. I was approached one day during my second year and was asked to be their roommate since Representative Haugard was leaving. I was honored, to say the least, and accepted the invite. Since then, I've had a chance to know Representative Randolph a lot more. We've become good friends. Over the years, we've had some great discussions about our Lord, family, scripture, friends, and state and federal government issues. There are times that I've viewed him as a big brother, and he's helped guide me when it comes to moral issues, constitutional issues, the Republican Party platform in the state of South Dakota. If anyone had visited our house that we had in Fort Pierre before the one that we have right now, you'd probably remember Tony's swear jar. I don't know if anybody, maybe some of you have. I think there are some people on this floor and over in the Senate that probably had to contribute to that jar. If you spend time around Tony, your language will definitely improve, and you'll be a better person for it. And as I've spent time with him over the last 6 years, he's shown me that he always strives to practice what he preaches. Now, when it comes to the word traditionalist that I used right away at the beginning, this is why I used the word for Tony. For one, his wife used the term to describe him a few years ago, and I found it to be spot on. When you look at policy and what Representative Randolph stands for and advocates for, it's this. First and foremost, he follows Christ. After that, he turns to the originalist thought of the state and federal constitutions. He's not a textualist or a living and breathing document kind of guy. He has stood for republicanism, that this union of states was founded upon, a republicanism of the founding fathers, not a lot of the big government stuff that we see today. Thank you. He's fought for the sanctity of marriage, the life of a human being in a mother's womb, proper justice, gun rights, proper roles of government, separation of powers, states' rights, and much more. Representative Randolph is steady, calm, and collected. He's stoic, joyful, and consistent. Those were the words that came to mind when I thought about this. Representative Randolph, you'll be missed, whether it's on the House floor, in the halls, or at the kitchen table. Just want to thank you for your service in the state of South Dakota, that you've given the state of South Dakota, and your friendship. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, all members have voted.
Clerk will please display the vote.
Mr. Speaker, there are ayes 67, excused 3.
The LEMS motion, having received the affirmative vote of 2/3 of the members elect, is hereby declared carried. The House does concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1038.
Representative Mortensen moved that the House do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1215.
Is there a second? The Mortensen motion that the House now do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1215 having been made and seconded. Remarks on the motion, Representative Mortensen.
This is a good bill. Over in the Senate side, they made some clarifying amendments, and then the substantive amendment, which I worked with the Senate Prime on, changed how the cities and counties are authorized to do these and took out some of the language about how many per capita, basically, to give equal discretion across the state. It's a good thing. I'd appreciate your favorable consideration.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Mortensen motion? Any further remarks? Seeing no further remarks, the question before the House is the Mortensen motion that the House do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1215. All those in favor will vote yea, those opposed nay. The clerk will unlock the voting machine and the members will proceed to vote. Representative Whitman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. Members of the House, I rise today to recognize somebody whose leadership has shaped not just this chamber, but myself over the past several years, our Minority Leader, Representative Erin Healy. For 8 years, Leader Healy has served the people of South Dakota with determination, grace, and a deep commitment to public service. In that time, she made history as the first woman to serve as Minority Leader in the South Dakota House. That milestone matters because it shows young women across our state that there is a place for them here in this chamber. For many of us in this chamber, her legacy goes far beyond the title. Unfortunately for many of you, Representative Erin Healy sat down with me a few years ago when I had some questions about running for office. She answered all of my questions and was not able to talk me out of it. Because of that, she mentored me along the way and has been an incredible leader and friend during my time here in Pierre. And I know I'm not the only one who has benefited. She has led with steadiness and thoughtfulness. She listens carefully and stands firmly in her values, never losing sight of the people that we were sent here to represent. In committee rooms, in caucus meetings, and on this floor, she has set an example of what respectful and dedicated leadership looks like. Public service asks so much from all of us who step forward. We take time away from our families, long days during session, and the responsibility of making incredibly difficult decisions. Leader Healy has carried those responsibilities with integrity and a deep respect for this institution and this body. While this may be her final session in the legislature for now, the impact that she has had on this body and on the people that she has mentored will last far beyond this year. And so, Leader Healy, thank you for your leadership, your mentorship, your friendship, and your service to the state of South Dakota. We are so grateful.
Representative Cole, Representative Peterson, Representative Stevens. Mr. Speaker, all members have voted.
Clerk will please display the vote.
Mr. Speaker, there are ayes 63, nays 4, excused 3.
The Mortensen motion, having received the affirmative vote of the majority of members elected, is hereby declared carried. The House does concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1215.
Representative Hughes moved that the House do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1274.
Is there a second? The Hughes motion that the House now do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1274, having been made and seconded. Remarks on your motion, Representative Hughes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I ask for your concurrence in the Senate amendment to HB 1274. It does not change the intent, effect, or meaning of the bill, but it does improve enforceability, and it was a minor amendment asked for by the Attorney General. So I'd ask that you support it, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Hughes motion? Any further remarks? Seeing no further remarks, the question before the House is the Hughes motion that the House now do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1274. All those in favor will vote yea. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will unlock the voting machine, and the members will proceed to vote. Representative Baumüller.
Personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 21 years ago, the most adorable military man was activated, and he called me from New Jersey, and he asked me, he said, I will be home in 3 weeks. We're getting married. And while at 20 years old, I thought, fantastic, let's do it. We planned a wedding, and I picked him up from the airport 3 weeks later. We went to the courthouse, got our marriage certificate, and got married. That was on a Friday. Monday morning, I dropped him off at the airport. He went to Baghdad, and I stayed home. And he got home on our 1-year anniversary after that, and it's been 20 years since then, and I can't thank him enough for everything he has done for me. He is not a politician or love politics, but the last 3 years he has spent every day listening to all of us and he's online. I wish I could have introduced him in the Capitol, but it didn't work out that way. So thank you for the love and support and everything for the last 4 years, and I will see you on Friday. But you'll welcome him with me. Thank you.
Representative Greenfield.
No privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I have here, as you can see, a young lady, a Senate page. Her name is Hadley Jurdy. And the reason I called her over here to introduce you to her and her to you is because when Hadley was 6 years old, was the first time I met her, Hadley came to the legislature because she wanted to introduce a bill. And that bill was that her cousin would always visit after the 4th of July, and she wasn't allowed to shoot parachutes with her cousin at that time because that was not legal. So Hadley came with her bill and presented it in committee. It went through with flying colors. She presented it on the Senate floor, the House floor, the other committee, and every time that she would come, her family would come. She had younger siblings. I remember one was in a stroller, but they showed up every time, and her bill won. I think there was one person in the House at that time that voted no, and everybody booed him so loud he felt guilted into changing his vote. And so anyway, I just wanted you to meet her, and for these young people to know that at any age you can come into this people's house and make a difference. So if you'd give her a hand. Thank you. Do you want to take a picture? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Representative Fitzgerald. Mr. Speaker, all members have voted.
The clerk will please display the vote.
Mr. Speaker, there are ayes 61, nays 6, excused 3.
The Hughes motion, having received the affirmative vote of the majority of members-elect, is hereby declared carried. The House does concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1274.
Representative Randolph moved that the House do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1320.
Thank you. The Randolph motion that the House do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1320 having been made and seconded. Remarks on your motion, Representative Randolph.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So if you remember, House Bill 1320 had to do with trying to make it as easy as possible for citizens to service a notice of appeal of a ruling of the county commission. Currently, the way the law is written now is simply the only way you can serve a county commission is by serving a county commissioner directly. The changes that were made were actually mine. We passed it out of here with the treasurer, a registered agent, along with the county commission. Well, I was approached by the lobbyists for the county commissioners, and they thought maybe there was a little bit of confusion and that sort of stuff. So we worked together, and what I did was, we still have obviously the commissioner. We removed the registered agent, we removed the treasurer, and now what we have is we have the auditor and we have the state's attorney. And so it still makes it extremely easy, a lot easier than it was before, for an actual citizen to make that service. And so I'd ask for your concurrence. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Randolph motion? Any further remarks? Seeing no further remarks, the question before the House is a Randolph motion that the House now do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1320. All those in favor will vote yea. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will unlock the voting machine, and the members will proceed to vote. Representative Knowles. Granted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I have heard many of you on this floor this session introducing your spouses of 30, 40, 50 years, and it's been absolutely inspiring. But if not all of you know, I am newly married, 2 months today. I couldn't get my husband to come to the Capitol either today, but I'd like you all to welcome him online for me. Thank you.
Representative Wahlberg.
Personal privilege?
Granted.
Thank you. I don't know if any of you folks got an email from your local schools, but today I decided to take in an event over at the Ramkota. The culinary art students are here in town for a competition, and there's a lot of communities that are being represented. And maybe I'm just a little biased with the food that I saw from Madison, but it was way better lunch than we've had in several days. But I encourage you, once we're done with session, stop by there. The judging is supposed to happen at 5:30, and if your community is represented, they would love to see you. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Greenfield.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not asking for a personal privilege from Lana Greenfield. I'm asking for one from Representative Liz May. So, if I might.
Granted.
Thank you. This is from Liz. Pari and I did not arrive here at the same time, and we certainly didn't arrive under the same party banner. But if there was one thing this place has taught me, it's that political labels don't have to define relationships. Pari and I have had our share of passionate debates over the years, but through it all, there has always been one thing that we could count on. When it came to the people back home, we had each other's backs. Whether it was issues affecting our reservation communities or the challenges facing our ranchers and agricultural producers, Pari never forgot who sent her here. She spoke for her constituents in District 27, and she did it with strength, conviction, and heart. Pari is a decorated veteran who served this country with honor. She is a mother, a wife, a daughter, and a proud member of a family whose roots run deep in our district. That family, large and wide, has every reason to be proud of what she has accomplished. I want them to know that those of us who had the privilege to serve with her are very proud as well. Public service is not always easy. It asks a lot of a person, and even more of families who stand behind them. But Pari showed up, she did the work, and she did it with integrity. Pari, we all thank you for your service, and we thank you on behalf of Liz May for the service to your district, District 27, and to the people who depend upon voices like yours in this building. We all wish you and your family the very best in the years ahead, and we will miss you.
Overweg votes aye. Mr. Speaker, all members have voted.
The clerk will please display the vote.
Mr. Speaker, there were ayes 64, nays 3, excused 3.
The Randolph motion, having received the affirmative vote of the majority of members elected, is hereby declared carried. The House does concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1320.
Representative Elward moved that the House do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1323.
Is there a second? The Elward motion that the House now do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1323 having been made and seconded. Remarks on your motion, Representative Elward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So when we had this bill in here last time, your body probably remembers that we had a 30-day window instead of a 20-day. It went over to the Senate State Affairs, made it through there. On the House, it got amended, what you see before you here with It moved it back to 20 days, and then we placed a 2,500 signature cap on it. So it's a long bill, but there's a lot of style and form. So if you go through there and you read through, most of it's going to be style and form. The only changes that you're going to see are the 2,500 signature cap. So I ask you to concur with this, and let's put it through to help provide some property tax relief. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Aylward motion? Representative Van Diepen.
I have a substitute motion.
State your motion.
I would move that we do not concur and we do not appoint.
Is there a second? Van Diepen, substitute motion that the House do not concur and do not reappoint a conference committee on House Bill 1323, having been made and seconded. Remarks on your motion, Representative Van Diepen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, after reading this bill again, it goes back to a week or two ago where we had all of the contents that are in this bill in another bill, which we voted on this floor, and we put it to rest. Then we moved to reconsider it. So we did that. And again, we put it to rest, saying we didn't like it. Now, the last week of the session, we put this stuff and amend that information into another bill for something we've already said we do not want in this body. So I don't think that we should concur, and I don't think we should appoint. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks on the substitute motion, Representative Aylward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to ask you to not support this. The difference between this bill and the other bills that came through here that were defeated, this goes across the board for counties, taxing districts, school boards, towns. So we're not just focusing on school boards here. The other difference with this bill, again, this takes it to 20 days. Those other bills were 40 days, I believe, so it brings that back down. We actually worked with the counties and the cities on this. They were in agreement with this as we came out of committee. Again, we're just asking for that signature limit. So I ask you to not support this substitute. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks on the substitute motion, Representative Jamison.
Thank you. I'd ask the body to support the substitute motion. The challenge is the 20 days was the right number. For a lot of mechanics that happen within local governments in our state, 20 days is right, and I'm glad we got back to that date. 30 days was kind of seen as a compromise. The challenge with the 2,500 number is that it isolates Sioux Falls and Rapid City. And it has the propensity of creating a stifling effect on the local governing bodies, whether it's the county or the city, I guess. And in essence, you could effectively probably organize a minority group that could stop local government. And the approach that we've taken over the years and the way it's been since the beginning is really set in principle by good standards and measures to ensure that those elected officials are given some courtesy, if you will, for being an elected official and making decisions based on their positions and for the voters. So I'd ask you to support the substitute motion.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Van Diepen substitute motion, Representative Halverson.
Mr. Speaker, approximately 2 hours ago, I got an email from a Gregory School Board Vice President saying, this really ties the hands of local school boards and takes away local control. Please don't tie our hands. Let us do what we are elected to do for our schools. So please support Representative's substitute amendment.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Van Diepen substitute motion, Representative Roby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would also support the substitute motion. Clearly, we've seen this bill or iterations of it. I think it's the third time now on this floor. Clearly, there's some folks, the legislators from Sioux Falls, that have some concerns about the school district. I guess what I would say is I was just talking to somebody this week about a bill that came before us that prior to session was a contentious issue. There were several bills introduced on the topic, tax increment financing districts, just in general terms, on a specific bill. And what happened with that issue is all the stakeholders came to the table and they came forward with a proposal that both sides got something out of. The folks that were concerned about too many changes, we're okay with some reasonable changes. And I would just encourage the folks that have concerns about these opt-outs, et cetera, and petition gathering to talk to the school district, to come forward with a plan that everybody can get on board with, and we can get something done potentially next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Van Diepen substitute motion? Would any member wish to speak before Representative Aylward speaks for a second time? Representative Aylward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to touch on the point of tying hands. So we're not doing that. If you think about it, it's not easy to go out and get 2,500 signatures. That still takes a lot of work, still takes organization. We left it at 20 days. We've had this discussion on this floor about Republican type of government. I don't think it should be easy for folks to overturn this stuff, but it sure shouldn't be near impossible. If you think about it, you got to go out, get 5,700, 6,000 some votes in 20 days. This is just asking for a little help. Let's knock it down to 2,500 and just make it somewhat realistic for the people. Thank you. Vote against this.
Thank you. Representative Schapauer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, one of my Brown County commissioners asked me to vote against 1323 because it would be hard for the county commission to adhere by it, and it would tie their hands. So when I found out about the new amendment from the Senate, I asked him his opinion, and he said, actually, you know what, please vote for it. We are good with it. We appreciate the 20 days and the threshold of signatures. So I asked you to reject the amendment and to go with the original bill that we would first be voting on. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Van Diepen substitute motion, Representative Greenfield.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The former representative from my area, Beadle, Spink, and Clark, is right. We've seen this bill in different shapes and forms. It's been disguised and hid inside other bills, not just this bill. I believe that the Senate put it down yesterday under 1241. And so I think we've had enough of it. I do not wish to go away from this building and have about 2, 3, 4 schools think that we singled them out. I don't think that's a message that we want to get out to the people. So I would ask you to support the substitute motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Van Diepen substitute motion. Representative Hughes.
Well, this body defeated SB 85 and SB 223. And the reason we did was because we couldn't get amendments passed that would have addressed a lot of the concerns that members of this body had, at least as I understand it then. We tried to provide lower thresholds, enrollment minimums, and we never got to debate those amendments on the floor. And so this state prides itself on the powers of voter initiative and referendum. And voter engagement is something that I would think we ought to be encouraging. I don't know what we're afraid of. Are we afraid of the voters? I mean, I was part of an effort. I mean, I didn't have time to participate, but you've heard about the $21 million opt-out in Sioux Falls, and I think we got 2,586 signatures, I believe. We needed almost double that. And we had dozens of people hustling hard. I don't think it's helpful to view, I mean, honestly, don't we all care about the entire state? I mean, I'm troubled by this idea of singling out Sioux Falls, whether it's the wealthy Sioux Falls homeowner or it's your problem, go fix it. Really, is that what this body does? Do we tell our fellow representatives to go take care of your problems? Don't bring them here? I thought we were here to help all the people, and we were here to help each other. and to help voter engagement and allow fairness. I don't see, I mean, I want to accept the sincerity of those that are speaking against this, and obviously my seatmate here has a much longer reach than I do, so maybe I should just keep standing here. No, I'm teasing. Kevin, we have a great relationship, but we disagree on this issue, and I would encourage you to let the voters decide. Voter referendum is a safety valve that helps convince people that they have a say. Don't let, I mean, honestly, are we gonna, of course a school administrator would say, I don't want to be bothered with a referendum. Well, but is that representing the people? I'm not sure. Let the people decide. Let the people try to refer. And if they fail, that's just how life is. So I encourage you to defeat the amendment and support the bill.
Thank you. Further remarks? Representative Andera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. How many of you in your districts have a meat packing plant that just got $90 million TIF? How many of you? How many of you have continuous stacked school opt-outs? How many of you? How many of you have a county commission that also continues to opt out because they don't have a choice? Almost seems like they're the last one to the party. And then they've got to cover fire, they've got to cover police, they've got to cover roads. This is a big deal. And to the good representative from Lincoln, Minnehaha, who just spoke, we are here to do the best for all of South Dakota. Our voters deserve to have a voice when someone is going to keep stacking opt-outs in. If they don't get the votes, then you know what? The people don't care. But it gets to a point where all of those opt-outs, all of the economic development, all of the money that's being spent in some of these larger cities is literally crippling the people in these cities. Why can't we give them a fighting chance? Please vote against this amendment.
Thank you. Further remarks? Representative Odenbach.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, a few of you may have heard me say it's the spending a couple times the last couple of years, and as we're about to wrap up here for the session and go home and face the voters and the taxpayers, I just thought a little context in this opt-out debate would help. I just did a little research here this morning because I knew this issue was coming up today. And I think the South Dakota Searchlight has been reporting on this, as of February of this year, 79 active school district opt-outs are generating $43 million in extra revenue taken from the taxpayers. And for taxes payable in 2024, nearly 42% of school boards opted out of property tax limits, collecting $34 million above the state limits. In Sioux Falls, because I know that's been talked about many times as we've talked about this issue, the largest opt-out in the state, it went from 1.8 million in 2023. They did a 1.9 million in 24, 2 million in 25, and a new $2.1 million opt-out for 2026. So I'll be resisting the substitute motion because when we go and talk about the property tax crisis, it's the spending. And addressing the spending is a big piece of saying we did something about property taxes. So I'd resist this substitute motion and ask you to vote green on the good representatives bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks? Representative Lems.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I wasn't going to talk on this bill, but when my heart gets pounding and I get passionate about something, it's time to stand up. I've been involved in referendum, in petition drives. It's not easy. It's hard. And it should be hard, just like the good representative from Lincoln County said. It should be hard, but it should not be impossible. And in some of these areas, it is next to impossible. We are just asking for a little more fairness in the system to give the people more of a voice. This is about restraint, pulling back and putting a limit to what these opt-outs that were just talked about, what they can do, giving the taxpayer a voice. So I would resist what has been suggested, and I would vote for the bill as is, with the concessions that have been made.
Thank you. Further remarks on the substitute motion? Representative Stevens.
Well, thank you. We've discussed this, and I bet you we're all ready to vote. I will say this, it's not impossible to do what the law currently says. And how do I know that? Well, Rapid City just had a TIF deal out there, right? They needed 3,000 signatures in 20 days. How many did they get? 6,000. It's really interesting because when we had in our testimony, one of the proponents of this type of a bill was asked whether or not that individual had carried a petition and how many signatures that person had received. That person did not take out a petition, nor did that person get a single signature. The mere fact that people do not support it when they had 50 people going out and couldn't get the number of votes might indicate that the people have spoken, and they've spoken in favor of what the school board or the city or the county has suggested. So I would ask you that you support the motion.
Thank you. Further remarks, Representative Call.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to stand in support of the substitute motion. One of the things that I want to point out is, Brown County, they talked about that and they said now that they're okay with it, they're in favor with it. And one of the things I'd want to point out is that in Brown County, they would need 1,350. So it doesn't affect them. Lincoln County has 50,000 people. They would have to gather 2,500 signatures. So they're pretty much at par. So this is directed at Sioux Falls and Rapid City. In Sioux Falls, I think it's the number is somewhere around 6,700. But it's all proportional. You've got more people, so you've got more people that you can collect signatures from. You've got more people, and you can probably round up more people to collect those signatures. Again, it's proportional. It's probably just as difficult to get the 1,350 from a smaller county, from a smaller city, as it would be to get the 6,700 for Sioux Falls. And likewise for Rapid City, whatever that number might be. So it's a level playing field, the way it is now. And I think that we should probably keep it rather than targeting just one or two municipalities within the city. So I do support the substitute motion, and I ask for your green vote on that.
Thank you. Further remarks on the Van Diepen substitute motion? Any further remarks? Representative Van Diepen, in closing on the substitute motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I listened to all the comments, and I agree that 6,000 signatures might be tough, but that's why we set it at that. We don't want people to constantly refer things to a vote when we hear that it's going to cost $20,000 to $50,000 a time. We sat in here yesterday and talked about property taxes, and we should let our people keep their money. What are we going to do? We're going to take their money because somebody's got to pay the bill. School districts, more tax dollars. I looked up the 5% in Huron, my community. If you look at 14,000 voters, or 14,000 residents, that's 700 votes that we have to get, 700 signatures. So how come that's not getting cut in half for my community? What makes us different than Sioux Falls? Like I said earlier, we've put this to rest several times, and we just keep bringing it back in another fashion and trying to slip it through. I don't see any reason that we should reconsider it again. I think we should all support the amended motion to do not concur, and I would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Question before the House is the Van Diepen substitute motion that the House do not concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1323 and that no committee be appointed. All those in favor of that motion will vote yea. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will unlock the voting machine and the members will proceed to vote. To be clear, a yea vote acts to kill the bill. Everybody clear on the motion?
Mr. Speaker, all members have voted.
Clerk will please display the vote.
Mr. Speaker, there were ayes 40, nays 27, excused 3.
The Van Diepen motion, having received the affirmative vote of the majority of members elect, is hereby declared carried. The House does not concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1323, and no committee will be appointed. Representative Reich.
I have a question for the presiding officer about a rule that may have been broken.
Okay. Go for it.
You know, my district mate was talking about going out and eating some food somewhere while we were all up here working, and that's fine. But there was a house page that he is having carry around his book to have autographs in, and I think that's pretty close to violating 1B-1. I just ask for your ruling on that.
I agree, and I think the member is clearly out of order. The member will come to order. Thank you. There being no objection, the House will now revert to order of business number 5, reports of standing committees.
Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Joint Legislative Procedure respectfully reports that it has had under consideration the proposed calendar of the 101st legislative session and respectfully recommends the days of the 101st legislative session as found in the House Journal.
Messages.
Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to inform your honorable body that the Senate has appointed Senators Otten, Lapka, and Rowe as a committee of 3 on the part of the Senate to meet with a like committee on the part of the House to adjust the differences between the two houses on Senate Bill 121. Also, Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to inform your honorable body that the Senate has appointed Senators Otten, Lapke, and Ms. Gimmons as a committee of 3 on the part of the Senate to meet with a like committee on the part of the House to adjust the differences between the two houses on Senate Bill 74. Also, Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to inform your honorable body that the Senate has concurred in House amendments to Senate Bill 106, 119, and 221. Respectfully, Peggy Lorenz, Secretary.
Announcements. The Speaker has 2 announcements relative to conference committees. The first is that the Conference Committee on House Bill 1200 will meet in room 413 today after session. Conference Committee on House Bill 1200, room 413 today after session. Also, the Conference Committee on House Bill 1209 will meet tomorrow, Wednesday, at 9 a.m. in room 413. House Bill 1209 Conference Committee tomorrow, Wednesday, 9 a.m., room 413. Any other announcements? Representative Derby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Joint Committee on Appropriations will meet in 15 minutes.
Thank you. Further announcements? Representative Baumüller.
Last night, the House failed to show up and beat the Senate in a dodgeball tournament. It is with great disappointment that I have to congratulate the Senate, and if any intern could get me some ice, that would be fabulous. Thank you.
I think they took some of our members. Okay, any further announcements? Okay, the Speaker is going to sign some bills, and then we'll adjourn for the day. The Constitution requires a Speaker to sign bills in open session. And so the Speaker is signing House Bill 1140, an act to permit a court to impose as a condition of probation or parole in certain circumstances treatment at a nonprofit entity awarded an alternative care program grant. Speaker signing House Bill 1148, an act to adopt the Respiratory Care Interstate Compact. Speaker signing House Bill 1149, an act to adopt the Athletic Trainer Licensure Compact. Speaker signing House Bill 1184, an act to define man and woman throughout the state. Members, just by way of reminder, we are going to come back in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Sorry, Representative. You have to wake up early. Speaker signing House Bill 1187, an act to add coaches to the list of mandatory reporters of child abuse or neglect. Speaker signing House Bill 1249, an act to amend provisions pertaining to the School Finance Accountability Board and the process by which a recommendation of the board is approved. Speaker is signing Senate Bill 214, an act to amend provisions pertaining to the publication of the statewide voter registration file. Speaker is signing Senate Bill 204, an act to revise certain criteria for loans from the South Dakota Housing Infrastructure Fund. The Speaker is signing Senate Bill 179, an act to permit a court to commit a juvenile adjudicated delinquent for certain weapons offenses to the Department of Corrections. The Speaker is signing Senate Bill 139, an act to revise a provision related to the transportation of an inmate upon discharge from a correctional facility. The Speaker is signing Senate Bill 137, an act to establish procedures for anti-SLAPP actions to protect the exercise of a person's constitutional rights, including freedom of speech. The Speaker is signing Senate Bill 132, an act to modify provisions related to the South Dakota Veterans Council. The Speaker is signing Senate Bill 131, an act to revise the season in which a non-profit organization may host a special pheasant hunt for disabled veterans and Purple Heart recipients. The Speaker is signing Senate Bill 107, an act to add licensed and registered child care programs to the definition of community safety zone. Speaker is signing Senate Bill 96, an act to authorize the imposition of a county option gross receipts tax to reduce owner-occupied property taxes. The Speaker is signing Senate Bill 90, an act to expand the information required to be sent to the prescription drug monitoring program for each registry identification card holder. The Speaker is signing Senate Bill 41, an act to revise a provision related to criminal invasions of privacy, prohibit the creation and distribution of digitally fabricated material of an identifiable individual, and provide penalties therefor. The Speaker is signing Senate Bill 15, an act to create the Developmental Disability Service Delivery Committee. Speaker signing Senate Bill 3, an act to limit the types of residential improvements for which counties, municipalities, and townships may require a permit. The Speaker is signing House Bill 1006, an act to create a task force to study the creation of Indian Medicaid managed care entities in this state. The Speaker is signing House Bill 1082, an act to establish parameters for the reimbursement of school districts that provide free or reduced price meals to students. Speaker signing Senate Bill 222, an act to make an appropriation for eligible water, wastewater, stormwater, and riparian buffer initiative projects and to declare an emergency. Speaker signing Senate Bill 219, an act to require that a state agency consult with the Aeronautics Commission prior to purchasing, transferring, or disposing of a state-owned and operated aircraft. Speaker signing Senate Bill 102, an act to modify the distribution of gaming revenues. And the Speaker is signing Senate Bill 49, an act to safeguard the integrity, privacy, and security of genetic data and provide a civil penalty therefor. Any further announcements? Speaker signing Senate Bill 90, an act to expand the information required to be sent to the prescription drug monitoring program for each registry identification card holder. Representative Baumüller.
Mr. Speaker, I move we adjourn.
Is there a second? All those in favor of adjournment will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.